Hi, HELLBENT here. How to set up HELLBENT's automatic submarine control script for water mode. How to build a submarine, script features and problem solving. Let's go. So, you already have a submarine or you're just about to build one. I'll show you mine, which you can find in the workshop and check yourself. Let's see how it works. The script uses a combination of two bouncy control features. The first is the control of the bulkheads. They open and close, making the rooms airtight. This allows the sub to quickly get a boost or drop in buoyancy. This is needed for diving and surfacing. The second is ice pumping and draining to compensate for the ship's buoyancy force. This gives the ability to hang in the water at any depth. Let's get to building and setting up. All you need is, first, a block of collectors and connectors for ice intake or ejection. They must have tags in their name as specified in script. The defaults are pump for collectors and drain for connectors. Make sure that you have enough containers to fully compensate the buoyancy force with the weight of the ice. I also highly recommend using sorters with a whitelist ice, setting both ways, so that all your plushes don't end up on the bottom of the sea. Second recommendation: place the containers so that the center of mass is below the center of buoyancy. Then your ship won't flip. To do this, open chat, press F2 and turn on Show Center of Buoyancy. If you can't adjust the two centers perfectly, which you probably can't, then I recommend using any of the available gravity line scripts. I use Whiplash's script, which for some reason is missing from the workshop. Step 2. Build bulkheads. The main task is to make airtight rooms that can be quickly closed or opened. Any doors are used for this purpose. The water mode works simplistically, so just open them or close them. There is no physics here to pump water in or out of the rooms. You need at least two bulkheads with a bulkhead tag and the addition of the level and the digit tag to work successfully. You should get bulkhead level 1 and bulkhead level -1. How does this work? In neutral, all positive level bulkheads are closed and negative level bulkheads are open. To surface, the script closes the lower bulkheads and adds buoyancy force. And to sink, it opens the upper bulkheads, reducing force. You can place them however you like, but I recommend placing them one next to other to avoid possible problems. It should look like this. You can also divide the positive and negative bulkhead stages into groups. You can even arrange multiple doors on the same level, which I highly recommend you do as well. Because if one is damaged, you can still control the others and it will keep you from sinking. You can use up to 5 levels for each of two sections. You can make a different number of levels and doors for each of them. As you can see, I use formation like this in my submarine and it works. My ship doesn't want to surface or dive, what should I do? Make more ice to dive, and if it won't float, increase the volume or number of bulkheads. Step 3. Put a remote control block with the submarine tag on it to determine the depth of the dive. This block can be placed anywhere in your submarine, we will calibrate it later. Step 4. Place the LCD with the buoyancy control LCD tag, but it's not necessary, it just makes it easier for you to watch the numbers. But what is obligatory is to put the LCD with the script from the water mode called buoyancy force. This is necessary for next steps. Step 5. Make sure all the tanks on your ship are full, this is important. The buoyancy calculation for the tanks is done in a special way. I calculated this for all 5 vanilla tanks, but if you are using tanks from any mod, God help you. Step 6. Insert a script into the PB. Enter the argument ED, which means emergency dive. Now you have to wait until your sub is completely underwater. When you are at sufficient depth, at least 50 meters, enter the argument maintain. If you have done everything correctly, the positive bulkheads should close and the negative bulkheads should open. Remember that the tanks should be full. Now, run to the display that shows the buoyancy and write down as quickly as possible the number you get there. You can also take a screenshot. The thing is, after closing some of bulkheads, the stored ice might not be enough and the ship will start to float, so you have to act fast. Step 7. Did you get the buoyancy force? Great! It's time to take a look at the custom data of the program block. Don't be scared, I'll explain everything later. In the ship buoyancy field, insert the number you got. It's important that everything is exact. Step 8. We're almost there. Now enter the argument ES, which means emergency surfacing. Wait for it to surface. When a sub is on the surface, enter the calibrate argument, which means calibrate depths. Congratulations! Your submarine's current position is now the maximum height it can be at, which is 0 depth. That's it, your script is completely set up. Keep in mind that if the number of blocks on your submarine changes or one of the rooms, not bulkheads, becomes sealed or unsealed, the total buoyancy value of the ship will change, and you will have to sink the ship again and do a buoyancy force measurement. Such problems arise because for the time being there is no possibility to automatically get the ship's buoyancy and depth in real time. If jQuery adds this feature, I will update the script. Let's move on to managing the script. This chapter is divided into two parts, arguments and custom data. Let's start with the arguments. As you may have already seen, there are two emergency arguments, surfacing and diving. If you suddenly get spooked by a New Year's pedoro, you can enter the ED argument for a quick dive. In this case, the script will open all bulkheads and start pumping as much ice as ship can hold. The case of entered arguments is not important. They are all converted to lower automatically. If you meet a Reaper Leviathan and prefer to be eaten by a pedoro, use ES to quickly reach the surface. In that case, the script will do the opposite. Why are these two arguments so short? If your cockpit gets destroyed, you'll have to enter them manually. Calibrate records the current depth and counts it as 0. Maintain is simple here. If you enter this argument, the script will bring the sub to a neutral position. Keep in mind that it won't maintain the set depths. Next argument does that. Any integer. Yes, you can enter any integer into the argument and click run. If the calibration has already been done, the script will automatically try to get to that depth. You don't have to do anything at all. Just enter the desired level and it will pop up or dive itself. Section 2. Custom data. Here you can find everything you are allowed to change. You can change the name of any tag as you like. The deviation of the ballast means at what interval from the desired number the script will stop pumping or draining ice. I suggest you to leave 100 for large grids and 30-40 for small grids, for example. Either way, the script will pump or drain slower when it gets to the desired number to ensure maximum accuracy. The minimum amount of ice is the amount that should remain in the ship even if all the ice needs to be drained. Almost a useless feature, but it will keep your generators running. Ship buoyancy. Well, that's pretty clear. Here should be the buoyancy of the ship at the moment it's underwater and positive bulkheads are closed. Dive status. This is what the ship is currently doing. It keeps the status in case the script is rebooted. The speed modifier is a useful feature. The default value is 5. The higher the value, the faster your ship will change its position. Keep in mind that this setting is not meant to improve your ship, but just to give it the best possible setting. For example, if you have a huge ship and set it to high speed, it might accidentally jump to the right height, in which case it will never reach it. Just lower the value. If you see that your ship can do it faster without losing stability, increase the value. Required depth, for the same purpose as dive status. Depth calibration. This is where the number that was obtained after calibration is stored. If you need to make 0 a couple of meters higher or lower, just change this value. All data recorded in custom data will be stored there until the end of time. If the script is rebooted or the world is reloaded, so when you restart, the script will read this data and return the sub to the position you left it in. That's all. If you still have questions or proposes, go to the mods Steam page and ask them. Subscribe, like this video, and see you in the next one.